I want to build a spaceship. It's going to take me so many billions of dollars. I want to build a spaceship because man is going to blow this fucking place up. And I want to charge $500,000 a seat, take all my loved ones. But this spaceship has to be massive. It has to be like a football field.
And it should have Wi-Fi.
Yeah, of course, it'll have Wi-Fi. You know, it's a spaceship.
It's simple. I have a case. It's filled with hundreds of postcards. On the back of each postcard, I've written topics. We pull these cards at random, and then we talk.
I'm a Royals fan because I was born and raised in Kansas City, Missouri. I'm a Chiefs fan. I'm a Sporting KC fan. You know what I mean? Anything in Kansas City, I'm a fan, but I'm not a fan of sports.
Really?
I'm not a sports nut.
What were you doing then when you were growing up? Like
working on music, thinking about music, not paying attention in class because I always have music in my head. You know what I mean? Just beats and rhythms and everything. You know what I'm saying?
So, back then you couldn't just hop onto your computer and knock it out.
No, we would get on those little tape recorders and your auntie has and tape over her gospel tapes and put your little beatboxing in there, you know what I mean, and make your own beat. You know what I mean?
Would she get mad?
Of course. You can't tape over Shirley Caesar with beatboxing.
So do you still have any of those old tapes?
No. We had a fire a long time ago when I was like 10 or 11, so.
And they're all gone?
Yeah, everything's gone in old portraits. That's why you can't find a really young picture of me, you know what I mean? I live with my grandmother, so she had books of stuff, you know what I'm saying?
Was she a hoarding grandmother?
Yes, she was.
As all good grandmothers are.
Yeah. So, all those tapes and everything, I would love to hear some of that stuff these days.
Do you think any of it was good?
It was more funny, you know what I'm saying? Us trying to imitate Roger Troutman and Zapp without the talk box. Yeah, wow, you know what I'm saying? And trying to emulate what we hear on the radio, you know what I mean? Without the Doors, it would not be my label, Strange Music, because I'm a humongous Doors fan. I named my gangster rap label after a rock band, The Doors, you know what I'm saying? Strange Music, so people are strange days. So I got to work with them because they inspired me when I was younger as well. So I've worked with the remaining members before Ray Manzarek died, and said John Dinsmore was there, and Robbie Krieger.
What was it about the Doors that did it for you?
I think it was the rebel of Jim Morrison and their fusion of sounds, Riders on the Storm, 5 to 1, you know what I'm saying? Like Spanish Caravan. It's just their fusion of sounds, man. It sounded dark carnivalish to me. And I, myself, totally with a dark carnival because I feared clowns when I was a younger kid. But I became the killer clown, you know what I'm saying, when I was painting my face and everything, so that dark carnival feel I always loved.
Was there something that happened when you were a kid that made you hate clowns?
Not hate, but just fear.
Fear, excuse me.
Yeah, it was, I guess I was a pretty advanced kid in the brain, you know. Back then I was thinking, like, what's behind that smile? Is there a malicious intent because the smile is painted on? It's mysterious. The whole mystique thing hit me later on in my life. I'm like, I don't want people to know what I'm thinking unless I tell them, you know what I'm saying? So the mask I put on makes me bring things forth that I wouldn't in a regular form, so.
Are you pretty reserved though in your normal day-to-day life?
Like I am right now,
yeah.
Yeah. But when the mask come on, you know, it's like profanity and vulgar and everything, but it's powerful, you know? It makes me feel like a superhero. A young lady asked me to write a rhyme because I was always beatboxing, making beats with my mouth. And Lola Morris asked me, won't you write something and rap instead of spitting on everybody? And I wrote it and everybody liked it. And I started doing it more. And then I finally won a contest, first thing I've ever won in my life. The thing I won fell on my graduation day, so I chose to open up for EPMD and Kwame and all those people at Kemper Arena in Kansas City, Missouri, rather than walk across the stage right up the street where all my partners were graduating. And that's when I knew what I was gonna do for the rest of my life. You know, your graduation day, you get your diploma and you choose something else, and then you end up doing what you planned on doing, and you're young, and it's not written in blood that you're gonna make it, and you You move from house to house because you ran away from home at 17. You move from place to place with family members and friends and everything, trying to do music, and then you end up doing it. Then you end up on the Forbes list and working with all the people that inspired you, like Ice Cube and the Doors and Roger Troutman, and it's wonderful. You know what I'm saying? So that was the most monumental to me. Grandma and Mom were heavy Christians. I lived in a church-filled home. Remember I said early Caesar tapes, taping over the gospel tapes. They all wanted me to do it for Christ. They knew I had something special because before all this rap thing, before Lola asked me, I was a dancer all those years, pop, lock, and break dance and everything. So with rhythm came rhyme. They knew that I was talented. My mom always put me in talent shows when I asked, like, I need baggy pants and white gloves and a white button-up shirt and some flourism so I can do the moonwalk, in 4th grade. I need all this, They always knew I had talent, but when I started rapping, they're like, baby, would you please do it for Christ? And I was like, it's all good. The way they raised me religiously is a part of me. My mom married a Muslim when I was 12. So I studied Islam as well, you know what I mean? And at 12 to 17, I ran away from that home because it was too strict.
Tell me about that day.
It was Thanksgiving break from school. The first day we got out of school, Thanksgiving break. There was a lot of things going on at the house that made me feel like that my stepfather didn't really like me too much, and he did. He was just trying to make me a better man, and I thought he was picking on me, so I left. I told Mom, I'm gonna go for Thanksgiving, since we don't really celebrate it here at the Muslim house, I'm gonna go to my Aunt Zita's and have it. And she knew because I was taking this big trash bag with all my clothes in it. And I remember her said, okay, baby, and he wasn't there. And I went when I left when he was at work, so because I knew he'd try to stop me and say, no, you're not going over to celebrating that pagan holiday with all those Christians, whatever, But so I remember walking down the block with my bag and saying bye to all my friends. It was pretty sad, you know what I'm saying?
Where'd you go?
I went to my Aunt Zita's house, right off Soul Parkway, you know what I mean? And we stayed there. I stayed there for a while. My stepfather called cursing, you better get your ass back home. And she got on the phone, he ain't coming nowhere, because they always disliked him because since Mom had epilepsy, he would put her in a psychiatric ward, and my family didn't agree. My Christian family didn't agree that she deserved to be in a psychiatric ward every time she would have episodes, because after you have grand mal seizures, the after effect of that shock to the brain makes you talk out of this world. And so he figured he needed to put her in Western Missouri and put her in a research psychiatric center, all these places that I visited my mom over the years. I have tunnel vision, and I'm trying to get to a place in this world that takes over the world. So that's a big wish. Global domination, world domination, that's a big wish. So
what does that mean for you though?
That everybody on the globe knows my name and my story. It's happening. Everything I'm talking about, when I put it in songs, that's how I gain fans, because I'm going through the same thing with my mom. My mom just died of lupus, just like yours did in 14, Tech. And I'm going through the same thing. Nick Cannon, he's going through the same thing. Like, Tech, man, I feel you with the lupus thing. It's like people, when I give everything, my whole life. You ever heard of the rod of Asclepius?
No.
Okay, the rod of Asclepius. The medical field uses it. You see it when you go to hospitals, you see the snake around the rod. Yeah. That's the rod of Asclepius, you know what I'm saying? And it's like Greek mythology or something like that, you know what I'm saying? So when you usually see the snake and the rod, it means medicine, or the practice of medicine or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So, Tech N9ne, the snake, medicine, the bat, the nocturnal creature, I am the medicine to navigate through the darkness. Whatever your darkness is, I am the medicine. And now it's on everything. You know, it's on Skin for Life with the fans. It's on car decals.
When you're driving down the road and you see a snake and bat,
it makes me smile because I used to see 9 Inch Nails all the time. You know, you see that N-I-N everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So now I was like, man, one day I want to be that, and it happened. I think on accident I might collect shoes.
How many pairs do you have?
I have a wall in my new home. I have a wall, and they all have little compartments they go in. You know what I mean? I love Air Jordans. I love Pumas, of course you can see. I love Adidas. I love wingtips later on in my life. You know what I'm saying? I had my wingtips on yesterday. I love wingtips.
How many do you bring with you on tour?
I don't bring a lot because you have to share a bus. I just gave so many away when I moved to my new home. I gave totes of shoes to whoever wants them, you know what I'm saying? Like a charity or whatever they want to do. I took them to Strange Music. Like, these are from when I went on tour with ICP. I marked some of them. These are when I went on tour with Jay-Z back in the day when the Sprite Liquid Mix tour. These are from, you know, Rock Fest I did.
So somebody's walking around Kansas City wearing some of your shoes.
Maybe, or somewhere else they'd be shipped out to. I don't know.
Do you still live in Kansas City?
Yeah. So, born and raised and still there and forever will be.
Do you stand by Kansas City barbecue?
Yes, I do. Ain't nobody messing with it. I haven't tasted a better sauce outside of Kansas City. I'm talking about you have Gates sauce. You have Jack Stack sauce. You have KC Masterpiece that's killing. You know what I'm sizzling? I mean, the only thing outside of Kansas City that I would even consider is Sweet Baby Ray's sauce.
That's pretty good sauce, actually.
Yeah. I always had a pet peeve when it came to racism. It started with me in 4th grade at Tom D. Cordy in Independence. I was playing outside with my white redhead friend, Adam, I think is his name. And we were playing with a kickball, or a soccer ball, but we played kickball with a soccer ball. Playing against the wall, and he was playing, and he was catching it, and I was catching it, and he's like, oh, wait a minute. My dad told me I can't play with niggers. I'm like, oh, okay. I remember that like it was.
This is your friend?
Yeah. It was a friend at school.
Yeah.
We were in the same class. Not somebody I played on the block with or anything.
Okay,
somebody I just saw
an acquaintance at school.
Yeah. And that's when I first got it.
What did you say to him then?
I didn't know what to say. I was like, oh.
You're a kid.
Yeah, I was like, oh, you can't play with me, a nigger. I've heard that name before. You know what I'm saying? So it probably started really early in my life, my pet peeve, because dude stopped playing with me because of it. When he thought about it, like, oh, what am I doing? You know what I'm saying? Back then, 4th grade, dude.
And you're sitting there going, 8 seconds ago, we were having a great time throwing this ball against a wall.
Yeah. So when I'm at Walmart and I see little babies that are different race other than my own, you know, and how they smile and want to touch everybody, I said, see, racism is taught. You know what I'm saying? That baby don't have no idea to dislike this person because it looks different. No, it won't. And I remember Tupac said, you can't wage a war without having your money right. Now I got my money right. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, okay, if I was Bill Gates, that means my money would be all the way right. Would I want to wage a war? No, I wouldn't. So, you know, my brain like, I want to build a spaceship. It's going to take me so many billions of dollars. I want to build a spaceship because man is going to blow this fucking place up. And I want to charge $500,000 a seat, take all my loved ones. But this spaceship has to be massive. It has to be like a football field.
And you should have Wi-Fi.
Yeah, of course, it'll have Wi-Fi. You know, it's a spaceship, man. You know what I'm saying? I want to build a spaceship. You know what I'm saying? How big, what's the biggest football field? What do they hold? You know,
Big House in Michigan's holding, what, like 100,000?
100,000, maybe like 180,000 seater. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people will be wanting to pay for that because finding water on the moon or water particles on the moon, maybe we can build something, you know? Yeah. That's what my brain is thinking, like, okay, how are we gonna fly away from this motherfucker when it blows up? That's the first interview I've ever had like that. It's because you have no idea.